Yes. What's happening is Triple B Base Boxing Basement. Make sure you like to keep the haters away. Anyway, so the big story is Conor Benn has allegedly been found innocent of taking performance enhancing drugs. The WBC, he sent a 270 page document to the WBC. And Conor Benn, this is a quote, right? Conor Benn documented a highly elevated consumption of eggs during the time relevant to the sample collection, raised a reasonable explanation for the adverse finding. The British Boxing Board of Control will continue ongoing investigation into Benn's failed test. I mean, I thought the whole eggs thing was a joke, man. You know? I thought it was like a... So he took clomiphene, which is alleged... Well, it was found as blood or was piss, and it's allegedly a product that can mask... it can mask PD taking. It can... I don't know, it has some effect on testosterone. I don't really know. But... do you know what? I find it weird. Like, why didn't Conor choose the Triple B? And I did a video on it so he'd know the posse eating. The posse eating excuse. Like, yeah, my girl was on clomiphene. Yeah, I like to munch her out. And I must have munched some clomiphene. It's very easy, but instead he went for the eggs. Now, apparently he eats 60 eggs a day. Blood clot. Come on, man. I mean, maybe that's why there's like an egg shortage in the UK. Because Conor Benn has been eating them all, man. Maybe that's the reason. Yeah. You know what? I just thought, like, imagine how much he would break wind and fuck. You know? No one could spar him. No one could be around him because he'd be letting loose this horror. I used to feed my dog, Tyson, as a puppy. Only 2 eggs a day as a puppy, you know, to give him strength as he grew up. And his farts were hideous. You know, he'd sit there, sitting on a girl's lap. She'd be like, oh, he's so beautiful. Go, I mean, imagine eating 60 eggs a day, man. Come on, man. And so the main question is this, right? So why have you sent it to the WBC, right? Why have you sent... this 270-page document, WBC, when you should be sending it to whatever, VADA or, the British Boxing Board of Control, because they're licensed you, man. You know, he can't fight on the British soil as of yet. The WBC have cleared him, and maybe he could fight in the Saudi Arabia, the Emirates. I don't know, maybe even the US. I don't know, man. But I mean, it's just bizarre. This is a typical diversity hire, right? You can barely read. Talking about the British Boxing Board of Control position. So let's listen to this idiot.
Well, the British Boxing Board of Control has today stressed that the decision by the WBC will have no impact on whether Benn will be cleared by its investigation. They have said this: the BBBOC, the British Boxing Board of Control, has not been party to the review conducted by the WBC and has not been provided with sight of any evidence submitted on Mr. Benn's behalf. For clarity, whilst the British Boxing Board of Control wishes to make clear that it respects the WBC is a sanctioning body, not a governing body. The British Boxing Board of Control was the governing body with whom Mr. Benn was licensed at the material time, and as such, any alleged anti-doping violation should be dealt with in accordance with its rules and regulations. As such, the decision of the WBC does not affect the ongoing implementation of the British Boxing Board of Control's rules and those of UKAD.
Right, so what is this fool? He can barely speak, man. So he's saying, right, the WBC findings are irrelevant to British Boxing Board of Control, as the WBC is a sanctioning body, not a governing body. And that's correct, right? They sanction world titles. They don't make judgments on failed drug tests. You know, it's all a bit weird, man. It's all a bit odd. You know, and we smell it. You know, we smell something odd going on, right? Yeah. But the WBC have now allowed Conor Benn to fight. Now, I mean, who knows what the thickness of the brown envelope that Conor Benn's team gave to WBC's crooks, the World Boxing Council, WBC, WBC's crooks. I mean, come on, man. You know, he's still under investigation by UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control, and he won't be licensed to box in the UK at this point. I don't know why he didn't send his document to the Boxing Board of Control UK. I mean, let me be honest, all these guys are like utterly corrupt anyway, you know. And why are the WBC involved? They don't. Benn is not even a WBC champion. He's the WBA, WBC's assholes, Continental welterweight champion. And his everyone's laughing at him. Everyone's laughing at him. You know, Domino's Pizza, right, in the UK. Huh? I mean, it's quite weird. The such a big company would pick up on this, but they got like introducing the Conor Benn special, which is a pizza with loads of eggs on it. It's quite funny. But you know, Benn's reputation seems smashed, and it's odd, right? The whole thing about drug testing in boxing is extremely hypocritical, right? For example, Canelo, Tyson Fury, Roy Jones, Shane Mosley all failed tests. Jones apparently failed 4 tests, and he's still regarded as one of the best ever. You know? And no one seems to care. But, you know, why are they caring about Benn? Well, because it's attracted a lot of attention, and because it was before the fight, and the fight got cancelled. But it's so hypocritical, you know? Because no one seems to care about all the other failures, do they? Yeah, and it's all nonsense anyway, right? The reality is, you know, the money's in passing tests, not failing tests, and there are many ways to pass a test, even without bribing the drug testing body. For example, you can have masking agents, you can cycle. You could do what Usain Bolt used to do, which is just run away to the Jamaican hills, and none of the testers would come there. The Chinese athletes, I don't know if you remember, like years ago, I can't remember, one Olympics, 1992 maybe, all these massive Chinese women started appearing and won all the swimming competitions, and none of them tested positive. What, you think? I mean, listen, man, these girls were more muscular than the men, especially Chinese men. You know, they're more muscular than black men. And they didn't test positive. Mike Tyson said that he used to carry a fake willy with him, and he would fill it with uncontaminated urine, and when they tested, they would get his fake willy out, yeah, and put the uncontaminated urine in. But now he said it was because of illegal drugs like yayo. And weed, but you know, firstly, I think he's lying. Secondly, even if it is true, it shows you how easy it is to pass a test. Just get yourself a fake willy. Yeah. And it's funny. Watch Eddie Hearn. Watch Eddie Hearn, who's backing Benn all the time. Watch what he's got to say.
Signing up for drug testing, if when you fail, everyone just goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just let him fight." You know. Yeah. So and the argument of, well, it's all right with UKAD is totally irrelevant. You've signed drug testing with VADA, the best testing agency, in my opinion, in the sport.
I mean, really. Remember, now he's backing Benn. Oh, he's fine. He's okay. He's got to fight. And Eddie Hearn has lost most of his good fighters. He's struggling. He's from the secret society. You know, they're all criminals. These people. They're all liars and criminals. And then check out what Conor Benn also said about test failing.
Well, I just heard it when I got to the gym this morning. I can't believe it. The biggest night of your life, biggest fight of your career, and, you know, you get tested positive for a banned substance. It baffles me.
When you see boxers at the top level concern themselves with these sort of issues, especially this close to a massive fight, I mean, does that not concern you as a professional in that field?
Well, my nutritionist, I think I'm not even, you know, at world level. My nutritionist has a go at me for taking vitamin C tablets if they're not been tested. So the team he's got round him should say, listen, check all your substances. You're earning a few good quid here, and why put that to risk?
I mean, the truth is, right, all sport is corrupt. You know, if you're, you know, there are many ways to swerve a test, right? Including bribery. But a lot of them, if they do test, you know, they've got a natural excuse, right? I remember there was some sprinters, I don't know, it was Tyson Gale or something like that. Some sprinter, they said I had a beer last night, so that increased my testosterone. I got my nut on. Oh, that's why my testosterone is high. Another one said, I whacked off 5 times yesterday. That's why my testosterone is so high. I mean, every sprinter is juicing, and you know that, man. 1988, I don't know if you remember, but Ben Johnson got found guilty. And Carl Lewis got the gold medal. He got upgraded. Now, every single one of those people in that race failed a drugs test at some time, right? It's nonsense. They're not to be trusted, drug tests. And even if you do fail, nothing happens to most people. What happened to Linford Christie? He failed. What happened to Carl Lewis? He failed. What happened to Dalton, was it Smith? Dalton Smith, I think. Calvin Smith. He failed. Well, nothing happened to these guys because they weren't in the papers all the time. Conor Benn is. And that's curious to me why they've pushed Conor Benn in the papers so much. I believe it's because he's upset someone. He was asked to say some things. You know, he says he's a Christian. I don't know if I believe that. But he would have been asked to do something, do some ritual or say some stuff. He refused to do it. And so suddenly he's a bad guy. And he got tested positive when they're all juicing, man. Come on, man. There are a few people who don't juice, to be frank. Joe Calzaghe is one of them, in my opinion. Son Edwards, I actually believe, is not juicing. I mean, look at his body. You couldn't have a body like that if you were juicing anyway. But there's too much money in sports. There's just too much money in sports to risk things, you know. Canelo, the Mexican beef failed, obviously, and you know, no one cares, man. No one cares. Because there's too much money. When you got millions, let alone billions at stake, what you think people are going to be fair and care about a small drug test when they could, obviously when they could bypass it or they could bribe the people. You know what I'm saying? On my old channel, right? On my old channel back in the day, so I exposed UCAD, right? So I had a woman tester of the 2012 Olympics. I can't remember her name because the channel bored down. She was of Nigerian origin and from the same, literally the same tribe as Gay J. And she was testing the Olympics, not boxing, but she was testing. So we got to understand is these people know about testing. You understand me? And so, but they also know how to swerve it. And this woman was on the board of UCAD. Yeah, and obviously UCAD have never tested Gay J positive, even though everyone knows he's got at least a TUE, which is a therapeutic usage exemption for testosterone, possibly because he's intersex. But also, you know, he goes to Dubai and look at him, man. You don't get no physique like that naturally, especially when you look at his earlier physique, man. Right? So, I did a video on Gay J juicing, and this Nigerian woman lived something like a few miles away from Gay J, right? When I did the video on the old channel, yeah, suddenly she disappeared. This woman got removed from the board. She got removed from the board and removed from the website of UCAD. Okay? And people are corrupt, full stop. I mean, imagine thinking that, like, you're on like 40 grand a year and you're offered 100 grand in cash money, to not find a guy positive. And it's simple. And who's gonna, there's no other body looking at the testing bodies, if that makes sense. Look at, what's the guy, the cyclist called? He had one testicle. Lance. He never failed a test during competition. Only afterwards when they retested his samples. And you know what that is? He upset someone. And now he's a pariah. And now no one talks to him. And his great success is got an asterisk, at least. And if not, ignored. So why would it not happen in boxing, man? Just imagine, boxing, which is the truth is this, it's a largely unregulated sport. They got all kinds of governing bodies, they got sanctioning bodies, but effectively, it's largely, it's not, at least football has got some established governing bodies. Boxing doesn't, man. Nothing, it's the Wild West of sports, and there's a lot of money in it, right? So, Conor Benn as well. I don't know why he's been picked on, because to be honest, I mean, although it's very obvious he was juicing, to be honest, many other people, top boxers, in fact, most of them go down that path. And usually, with money and with the right knowledge, you can dodge a positive test. I don't know why he was picked. Like I said, well, no, I think it's because he didn't do what he was told to by the ruling powers, by the powers that be, by the Illuminati. But ultimately, he's been made to be a bad guy. He's been ridiculed, but in my thoughts, he's no different from the majority of fighters, especially guys like Roy Jones, man. Who's allegedly a legend, one of the best boxers ever, and people hold him in high regard. Yet he failed at least one, possibly 4 tests, and it's so blatant with his muscularity. Okay. Anyway, it's all a joke. We're being sold a piece of theatre. Was it Elvis Presley that said, life is a stage, and we each must play our part. It's a theatre, man. It's lies.